When you think about the milestones, in your opinion, that are most relevant to watch as part of Ethereum's journey becoming, let's call it, inevitable institutional infrastructure, what are those milestones that you're looking for to signal, sort of the stepwise movement towards that end goal of maybe more ubiquity as it relates to institutional infrastructure?
So we need a few things to happen. First, technology is move fast and break things. The financial system cannot be move fast and break things by necessity. You can't have the US capital markets stop ever. So Wall Street cares about security and reliability and uptime. And so you need a track record. I mean, Bitcoin has only reached its pinnacle of being accepted as digital gold after 15 years. And the first 10 years, everyone was very, very skeptical. So Ethereum's at that exact moment where it has been online for 10 years without interruption. It has 100% uptime. It's universal, it's global, it's not controlled by anyone. It's a public good infrastructure. And it's proven its resiliency over a decade. It moved from a pretty energy intensive, wasteful proof of work mechanism to proof of stake, which is a lot more understandable by Wall Street, created a staking yield, which allows Ethereum to be financialized. That went on without a hitch. It's proven its track record. So it's earned its stripes as trustworthy infrastructure that Wall Street can deploy real assets on. So then what we need to see was the deployment of real assets. So first, we started getting regulatory clarity. The ETH ETFs got approved. Despite an oppressive regulatory regime, Ethereum became a commodity. That de-risked it more. BlackRock tokenized. Now it's almost $3 billion of money market funds, most of which is on Ethereum. So that just starts to set precedent. And then you saw all these other kinds of assets from stablecoins. Most of the stablecoins reside on Ethereum to tokenized private credit funds that Apollo's brought on to other kinds of tokenized money market funds to even tokenized stocks, all coming onto Ethereum. That starts to de-risk it even more. And now we're at this position where Ethereum has adopted, and you're seeing the layer 2 roadmap start to flourish, where institutions can build their own customized blockchains on top of Ethereum. And that's the unlock that I think is going to get us to universal ubiquity. Because at the end of the day, institutions operate in different jurisdictions. They have different customized needs. They need different privacy solutions. They need different security. They need to abide by different regulations. And the only way to do that is to have a customized blockchain that still can plug into the global public network. That's a layer 2 ecosystem. So now we're seeing, especially this year, we've seen so many layer 2s flourish, from Coinbase's Base to Robinhood saying they're going to tokenize stocks and bring them onto a layer 2 built on Ethereum, built on Arbitrum, to even it's global. Things like Ant Financial launched a layer 2 called Jove on Ethereum. So you're starting to see these customized blockchains starting to flourish. And so institutions can have their cake and they can eat it too. They can have their own customized environments. They can plug into the safest, most secure global network. So we've checked all the boxes we need. Now it's time to accelerate. And now it's time to bring the whole world on.
I think most folks would be, very familiar with the narrative behind Bitcoin of digital gold. And I think conceptually that's really powerful and simple enough for a wide swath of folks to really get, their minds wrapped around. You wrote a really great piece around Ethereum being digital oil that I thought was like really helpful in framing sort of the Ethereum narrative in sort of context. And so maybe give the audience a bit more on how you see, Ethereum's narrative as digital oil, and maybe compare and contrast that to maybe Bitcoin's digital gold narrative, and, what makes it all sort of different.
Absolutely. Part of this whole journey has been educating institutions about ETH, because the Ethereum ecosystem is powered by its underlying reserve asset, and that's ETH. Bitcoin, after again 15 years, captured this very simple narrative of digital gold, but it's deceptively simple because you can't do much more with Bitcoin other than hold it. Ethereum's potential is unbounded. We're talking about the financial sector, but there's so many other use cases for Ethereum when you have this financial internet. You can start to bring on social media, you can start to bring on advertising, you can start to bring on gaming, you can start to bring on AI applications. Ethereum really is the world's computer. So how do we describe ETH as an asset in relation to something that can power the global economy? And that's why I call it digital oil, because where Bitcoin is an inert store of value, digital gold, Ethereum's a productive store of value. Ethereum it has a staking yield. It has an actual yield. It can be used productively throughout the entire Ethereum economy. It's used as collateral across all the different applications in Ethereum, as well as even today, JP Morgan announced that both Bitcoin and ETH would be acceptable collateral for the banking system to actually borrow against. So there's real adoption happening. where you're seeing differentiation between Bitcoin as digital gold and Ethereum as this other thing that's very productive, has a yield. It's honestly, I would say it's one of the most perfect store value assets. This closest analogy is oil. So we call it Ethereum digital oil, with some caveats that it's actually a much better store value than oil, because oil doesn't have a yield, Ethereum does. Oil doesn't have capped inflation, Ethereum does. Ethereum can never grow at more than 1.5% inflation, and usually it's much less inflationary. And Ethereum's a pristine collateral asset. So I'm really excited for Ethereum to reprice and become the other store of value alongside Bitcoin. And we think digital oil is the best way to capture the utility and productivity of this unbelievable asset.